So we are from the Niagara Drum Group. It's the Niagara Women's Drum Group and our biggest fan. So it's Sabrina, Oki, and Cheyenne. And as was said, this is the shared territory of the Mississauga, Anishnaabe, and the Haudenosaunee. And in the time before colonization, the Anishnaabe and the Haudenosaunee peoples made a treaty that you heard about called the Dish with One Spoon, living in principles of non-interference and reciprocity. Two very different peoples were able to live in peace in one territory, each living in their own way, each relying on the land for what they needed without starving out the other. A treaty that included our other than human relatives, the land and the water, the birds and the animals that crawl and swim. And so in that spirit, I welcome you here today, and to tell you that many of us stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine and Kashmir. So the people of Palestine and Kashmir who seek the same, who seek to live in their own way, in their own homes, beneath their own olive trees, to live in peace in one territory without interference. This morning I read the words of James Baldwin, and knowing I was coming here today, they hit me in a particular way. In an open letter to his nephew on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of emancipation, he wrote that it is not permissible that the authors of devastation should also be innocent. It is the innocence which constitutes the crime. It is their innocence that constitutes the crime. Of those who colonize and settle and push us aside, they want to be innocent, to say they didn't know, to be so far removed that they don't even need to look away because they never even looked in the first place. To be so far removed that they don't need to cover their ears or walk around us because there's nothing for them to hear, and their feet are so far from us the moment they touch ground. But innocence is itself the crime. Barriers created and maintained, the forgetting, the denial of our history. I did not know that there were rituals done in Africa so that those who were sold into slavery would forget, but they did not forget. The rituals were perhaps for those who sold them. And for those who colonize and settle and push us aside, they also have rituals of forgetting. But we do not forget. We beg and plead to be seen as human, as worthy. We think that if we could just show them that we bleed like they do, laugh and cry like they do, rejoice and mourn like they do, maybe they don't know, those innocent and well-meaning people. But the innocence is itself the crime. Because who is yet unaware, who, against all good sense, maintains their innocence at such a time as this? Canada needs to stop. The United States needs to stop. Australia needs to stop. The United Kingdom needs to stop. Israel needs to stop. India needs to stop. Stop funding the military. Stop encroaching on land. Stop murdering those whose existence refuses you your innocence. It is the innocence which constitutes the crime. From Turtle Island to Palestine, colonization is a crime. The first song we sang was called The Longest Walk. It's from a walk that the Native American people did from Alcatraz to Washington, D.C. in the 70s. And that song commemorates that walk and all the long walks that we've both taken.